it's Tawney. I just wanted to film a small little vlog while I put away dishes and then put dishes in my dishwasher. Um, I'm not trying to do any product placement, so I'm sorry if you see my sugar and all of my crap sitting around. This is just where my phone sits in my kitchen. I have a lot of thoughts that I've been thinking of, thinking about, things I've been feeling lately. I kind of feel like it's a good thing that I'm having these thoughts. It's a good thing that I'm thinking this way. I'm trying to keep telling myself that it's a good thing anyway. So, I have been very, I don't want to say like upset, but like I've been lonely lately. I think that's the best way to put it. Like I find myself, I have so much time to myself. I have, well, not so much, too much time to myself. Like when I first, okay, so I'm going to backtrack. So when I first moved into this apartment, it was back in July of 2019, before the world went to crap. I mean, the world might have already been crap at that point, who knows. But I first moved in here and I kind of wanted to get away from home. So it was my first time living on my own. I lived with my parents for my 23 years of life, you know, whole time I've been alive. So I wanted something that was like me. I could be by myself. I could have my own space. I was away from my parents. I didn't have to share a room with my sister. That was the whole thing. I just wanted, you know, my privacy. I wanted to like have friends over. I wanted to do things. And I didn't feel like I could do that while living at home. Which is fine. Like that's the whole point of moving out. Whatever. Well, okay, I'll back up to this. So I didn't mind being alone whenever I first moved in, but then I found myself sometimes like trying to beg my mom to come over to visit, going over to visit with her, trying to find reasons to pretty much like interact with other people. And I just thought it was kind of like, oh, I'm not used to being by myself, like it would take a while to get used to. Well, then things happened and I ended up not spending much time. Sorry if I keep going out of frame. I ended up spending very little time by myself at my apartment because, as I'm sure you all know, I started a relationship in August after I had moved in July. So a month later, I barely had time to like even acknowledge the fact that I was living on my own, and bam, there's a new person. I'm in a relationship. They're coming over all the time. We're hanging out. I'm not alone. So, which isn't a bad thing, like that, you know, I kind of wanted that. That was kind of my expectation of when I moved, was that I was going to meet someone that was going to give me the opportunity to be able to go out and meet new people, to try and like find someone, and even if it were just friends or not friends, you know, I wanted to find someone. That was pretty much my life goal at the point, honestly, because I had just started working full-time at my job, and things were going really well. I was in school to get my master's degree and like everything was like how it should have been at the time and all of that. So like the only thing left was to find a relationship, like be in a relationship, find the right person, you know, settle down kind of thing. Like I was ready for that. Like in my life, I felt like that was like the last thing to do at that point. You know what I mean? Like for me moving forward, progressing with my life, having some sort of forward movement type thing. Well, so now that I am alone, I find it really hard to, like, I don't know what to do with my alone time. I really don't want to cry, but it feels like it might be coming. So I apologize if I start, like, bawling in the middle of this video for, like, stupid reasons. But, I don't, like, I wanted my alone time for so long whenever I was moving out. Whenever I first moved here, I loved the fact that I was alone. I could like do whatever I wanted. I could go out whenever I wanted without having to check in with my mom, because I did whenever I lived with her, which understandable. Whenever I'm coming and going out of her house, she needs to know where I'm at, where I'm going, what time I'll be home, or at least what time I got home at that point, because she wasn't always like be home at a certain time, but like at least be respectable, because she was waiting up for me to get home, you know, like don't stay out till 3 o'clock in the morning whenever she has work the next day. But I'm getting water everywhere. Typical evening in my kitchen, me getting water everywhere. But so I feel like I don't even know how to keep going, how to begin all this stuff. I'm trying not to let a pan fall on the floor and make a big noise. But, so I'm not really used to being alone here. And that's been my biggest problem the last 2 months. Well, it's almost been 2 months. Come October, like, 4th, which I hate to say the date because then it just makes me feel more pathetic about the situation. But come October 4th, it will have been 2 months since the first time. Not since the second time, but I'm going to basically call it the time because, like, second time shouldn't have happened. I should have realized, I should have done better, been a better person. I should have stood up for myself and said, no, I'm not going to let you treat me this way, but that's beside the point. So it'll be 2 months, and I feel like I've grown a lot in those 2 months. I feel like I've learned more about myself and, like, what I'm doing moving forward. A lot of my problem, like, being able to move forward is that I have too much alone time, and I don't really know what to do with it, because a lot of my alone time I spend, like, thinking too much. I, like, blame myself for stupid things. I try and, like, I get myself all worked up over nothing. Like, I think things that are just stupid and irrational, that I know are stupid and irrational, that I keep thinking them. Like, you know, like, I feel like I've mentioned it all the time in all of my vlogs, but it's pretty much been like, you know, why would somebody leave you if they loved you? Were you not good enough? Were you not there enough? Did you not care enough? And I've kind of had this, like, realization over the last couple days, which was mainly why I wanted to film this video, was just to say that I had this revelation, because I kind of sort of realized a couple days ago, or like just recently, like today or something, that maybe I wasn't in love when all of this stuff happened. And that's so weird for me to say, considering I cried so much over this, that I, like, you know, this person that I lost, this person that I thought I loved, that loved me, or that I thought loved me pretty much. Like, at that point in time, I thought, you know, I knew that I had been in love or whatever. But now I'm thinking about it, and I think, was I in love, or did I just like not being alone? Because there were so many things between the two of us that we didn't have in common. Like, he grew up in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not going to try and, like, bash him or anything, like, for being who he was, because, like, it's good for somebody, and it's good for him, but it's not good for me, or I didn't like it or whatever. Like, he didn't like the same music I did. He criticized the music that I liked. So that was one thing we really didn't have in common. He was into video games, and I kind of was, but not really, like, enough to, like, have that be something we could, like, bond over. I mean, it was, but I feel like it was because I made it something we had to bond over. Otherwise, we weren't going to have anything to talk about, to do. He wanted to watch movies, and I wanted to watch TV. I'm not a movie type person. I find that sometimes movies can be a little bit too long, and it's so funny because my whole thought on movies are that they're just too long of a commitment to sit through, like, a 2 to 3 hour long movie. Our first date, we went to see a movie, and it wasn't the best first date. That should have been my first red flag, that things weren't going to go well, that things were starting off pretty badly. I should have taken the hint. But we had been talking for so long up to that point. Like, we got to know each other before that date. So that I'm thinking, well, things can't be that bad if we've, like, already talked. Like, we kind of sort of knew each other before the first date, if that makes sense. Like, we weren't two people that, like, two strangers meeting up for the very first time without ever having talked to each other, see each other. Like, we had FaceTimed, we had phone called. Like, we had done all this stuff to, like, get to know the other person. So that way we weren't, like... So that way we weren't going on this date without ever having, like, we knew what we were getting ourselves into, basically. And I thought things were fine, and I kind of sort of realized, thinking back now, that he kind of sort of just wanted, like, he wanted someone for him, and he didn't want someone for, like, a we, an us type thing, if that makes sense. A lot of the things that I'm not going to do my dishes while I'm doing this because it'll be distracting. I'm just going to finish up and then do my dishes. But a lot of the things that, you know, we had done and we had talked about weren't really to, like, build us up. And I kind of sort of realized that, like, I feel like I was just using him, and not, like, in a bad way. Not saying using, like, I was using you, like, not like really he did, which that's for my parents said that, like, he was using me. I was, like, the better person, whatever. but it was like I was using him as like a stepstone to get myself into a better place, to get myself into a better, like, to be doing better and feeling better and things like that. And I kind of think that's true. When we were together, I've had some issues with my neighbors, and he was kind of there to help me through that. And mainly because he was a guy, and he was like, well, I'll stand up and do this, and I'll say this, and I won't let you do this, and I won't let all of this happen. And like, he was like the supportive boyfriend kind of person. And I think it was more like he was just egotistical and like, I'm gonna be the bigger man, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna show them. And it was more like that, more so than like, I wanna protect you. Which kind of sucks that, like, thinking back, that maybe he didn't care. Maybe he just wanted to show off the other, show up them and things like that. And I had been going through that. So my mom and I kind of talked, and we're like, well, why don't you apply for a loan, see if you can get a house. So I applied for a loan, and I got pre-approved. I have great credit. I was like in a point in my life, I hadn't really saved up much money, but we were working on that. That was something that, like, he hadn't paid for rent, so he was going to do that. And it was like we were working things out. Like, we were trying to like move forward. And then whenever we were like just about to break up, he was like, I don't want to buy a house. I'm not ready for this. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But then I kind of was like, maybe I am. Maybe I'm at a good point where I can do something with my life. Maybe I'm at a point in my life where I'm ready for that. Maybe I think that I can handle something like this. That was the biggest thing for me, was like, I feel like I'm at this point where I can do something like this. And it was almost like he was holding me back. And part of, like, what I've been thinking lately is like, I didn't really need him, and maybe I wasn't in love with him. And like, I kept telling myself that, like, I'm so upset because he left me, and I thought he loved me, and I loved him, and he was like my world. And it was like, maybe we were just two people that called ourselves boyfriend, girlfriend, said we were in a relationship, lived together, but weren't actually like in love. Like, we just played the part. But then I think, like, you're supposed, like, your other person's supposed to be your best friend, and that's what I, considered. Like, thinking back right now in my, like, rational thoughts and, like, what I'm thinking now, maybe we were just best friends. Maybe we weren't in love. But then it's like, maybe we were. And then I think maybe the whole reason I'm upset is because he decided he didn't want me anymore. And that's the part that, like, I'm focusing on, whereas that's not really the part that, like, is, you know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to be worrying about. Like, people are supposed to be happy, and that's so hard to feel when you think you love someone. So hard to admit that, like, or to let the other person, like, if they don't love you, or if they find someone new, or if they just leave because they don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's so hard to give that up. And I remember I had been in, like, a short, very, very short, I wouldn't even call it relationship, like, dating thing in high school, and we broke up our first semester in college. And we weren't really good, like, we were just friends who considered ourselves dating. But at the time, like, I wanted a boyfriend. I wanted to be in that point in my life. I wanted to have met somebody. So I took it really hard, and for like a year and a half to 2 years, I just was like pining over this guy. Like, maybe I'll do this to get him back. Maybe I'll post this on Facebook to see if he'll like it. Maybe I'll do this on Instagram to see if he'll follow me again. And anytime he would like something or comment on something, I just feel so validated. And it was like, I don't need a guy who doesn't care about me, who doesn't think about me, who doesn't really feel the same way about me. Like, I don't need to be going after something like that. And, like, in my situation, I've been trying to get, like, I don't want to say attention, but it's pretty much just been like, here I am all by myself. What do I do? Like, I mean, I started a YouTube channel, and I kept it going, and I started doing these vlogs because I feel like I want the attention. And, like, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I feel like it's something I need to really remember about myself, especially if I'm going to try and look for a new boyfriend, try and meet someone, try and, like, see if there's other people out there that I can talk to, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, try and put myself back out there. It's like, don't do this for attention. Don't do this because you think you need a relationship, even though you might not. Like, that's what they always say, like, find yourself before you find someone else. Because if you don't know who you are, you're not going to find the right person in that soulmate, in that other half of yours. And that's so hard to, like, think about. Like, I had this stupid thought the other day, and I was just like, I wish I knew when I would meet that other person. Like, when I would meet my other, you know, my partner, my boyfriend, like, I'm not, you know, but, like, I wish I knew whenever that was going to happen, so I could prepare myself for that. And not so much like psych myself up or whatever, like just wait for that moment. But like I wish I knew if it were gonna happen tomorrow, if it were gonna happen a year from now, if it were gonna happen 10 years from now. Wish I knew, like, do I have to move to a certain area in order to find this person? Because that's been on my mind lately, is like, maybe I'm gonna move, maybe I'm gonna try and find, you know, a new place to live and try and get myself like out of this area. Because like, and I think this is all just like my, not irrational thoughts, but just like what I've been feeling lately, is like I'm so claustrophobic being in this area of like town and, you know, like this, you know, tri-state area that I live in, because we had been in so many places, he had worked in so many places. There's a whole town that I don't go to because he had worked there, and not saying that I can't go there, but it's just like it's too hard for me to want to go back and to want to like think about those things. And like we had done stuff, like I came up with good date ideas where we would go to like obscure places like restaurants and things that were like mom and pop stuff, and now I feel like I can't go there, and I like spoiled that because we had done that together, and it almost makes me like regret ever doing it. But then it's like at the time it was a good idea, at the time I wanted to do it, at the time it was helping me to like move forward and like how, you know, like be better for myself and all of that. And I can't change the past. I can't change what I did. I shouldn't regret what I had done in the past. Not that it's anything like really worth regretting, but like at the same time, you like, it makes sense in my head. And it's just like, it's frustrating because like here, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to keep rambling. And it's like, I want to be in a relationship. I want to be happy. I don't know if those two things coincide with one another. I don't know if me finding a boyfriend means that I'm going to be happy. I don't know if being happy means I'm going to be fine being single. Like, I'm at this point in my life that, like, I want something different, you know? Like, I'm trying to do this YouTube channel. I'm trying to put my all into work. I've been thinking about getting a different job because now I have a master's degree. Like, I want to do something with it. I want to make more money. I want to get a better apartment. I want to do all these things, and like maybe my, you know, maybe that other person, my ex, maybe he wasn't the right person to do that with. Maybe things weren't going to happen between, like, maybe he wasn't allowing me to move forward. And I kind of almost have to think that way, even if it weren't true, just so I can feel a little bit better and think that like maybe it was like a good thing all this happened. I don't really feel like it was a good thing that we had broken up. But honestly, like, I look at all the negatives versus the positives, and the negatives are so much higher than the positives ever were. And the positives were all, like, how he made me feel, things we did together, and it's like, I can do that by myself. I can find somebody new that'll make me feel better than that, that'll make me feel happier, that'll pick me up when I'm feeling down, that won't criticize me for anything, that maybe will have better taste in music, like, compared to, you know, more so what I have. Like, I don't know. And like the hardest part is not trying to go after the wrong thing. Because a lot of people have told me, like, when you are like desperately trying to find someone, when you're really putting yourself out there, people can tell, and they will pick up on that and like take advantage of that and like use you in like ways that they want and not what you want. I feel like I'm like trying to offer relationship advice, and it's kind of stupid because it's like, I've only been in one relationship, and like, this is how it ended, and it's like, but I don't know. My fancy sweater. You can tell it's getting cold out when I'm wearing this sweater. It was like 79 degrees or so whenever I got out of my car today, but this morning it was like 30 degrees, and I like didn't want to take off my sweatshirt to put on a shirt for work. So, and I didn't want to wear a hot shirt because I knew it was going to be cool today. So it's just, I bought a new fall wardrobe, and I feel like it's going to make me feel so much better. I'm trying to change, like, my outfits, trying to get out of my funk. I've been doing so much routine things that, like, not having a relationship and doing the whole routine of being in one, that's really throwing me off. But I think it's for the best that I switch things up. It'll help, like, I might be a little bit more anxious, but it'll help. So I'm really looking forward to how that's going to go. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm not going to make it any longer. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell down below so you get notified when I upload. It's typically every 3 days. I do a lot of vlogs. I do a lot of talking videos. I do a lot of makeup things, so check all of those out. Check my old ones out. Stay tuned for new ones. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!